You're listening to the Murder Speaks podcast, the show that spills the tea about true crime. Here's your host, Wendy Hinbest.
Hey, welcome back. So today's real crime story is about 22-year-old Leanne Martinez from Teos, New Mexico. She was known for her red Mustang. When she turns 19, she gets pregnant. The father isn't really in the picture. March 22nd, 1999, she gives birth to a baby girl named Estrella. In the summer of 2002, things start to go missing from her house.
Did your sister tell you about some circumstances whereby her residence was broken into?
Several times. There was one instance where my dad had gone to check on her. Her doors were open and the only thing that was missing was her stereo, her home stereo. Another instance a few weeks later where her toothbrush, her boyfriend's toothbrush, both deodorants, and her hairspray were missing. And the third incident that I knew about where only a bag of beef jerky was missing from on top of the table.
July 13th, 2002. She asked her mom to babysit. Her and her friend Julie went out. She planned on picking up her daughter the next morning, but never showed up. So her mom went to her house and she noticed Leanne's car was gone. So she went in the house and saw Leanne's body lying on the floor in the bedroom. She was found naked and was stabbed several times. There was no forced entry, but there was a bloody shoe print. According to Julie, Leanne's boyfriend was a suspect. He asked her to come to his house, and they had a fight the night she was murdered. He was one of the last people to see her alive.
She called me and she just asked if I wanted to go out. So we went to Espanola that night because it was the fiesta over there.
Fiestas?
Yeah.
What is the draw for the fiestas? What happens over there?
We just went cruising. Just a lot of more people are out cruising. We just stopped there and we stayed in the car. She stayed talking to him for a while and they kind of got in an argument and then we just left.
You know what the argument was about?
Just because he was kind of acting stupid, I guess.
And everything to do about smoking marijuana?
Yeah.
That was what it was?
Yeah. It was just about drugs and she was just mad because he was acting stupid and she could tell.
So the police bring him in for questioning, but he says the same thing Julie said. So they let him go because he wasn't really a suspect. Then the police question Julie. The autopsy report comes back. Leanne had 19 stab wounds and she was sexually assaulted. A neighbor saw a guy walking past his window towards Leanne's house the night she was murdered.
My dog was barking. I got up. I remember it was like a beige colored shirt, and the shirt had like little square designs on it. He walked about 5 feet away from my bedroom window. That's what kind of spooked me. I believe he was between 5'9", 5'11", about 200 to 220 pounds, if I remember in that area. His head was shaved. I watched him till he got all the way across the other field. I never saw him again. In fact, I didn't even know about the murder till the next day.
Her red Mustang was found close to a middle school in Albuquerque, and there was traces of blood and fingerprints were found. The police get a lead from a girl named Dawn. Her cousin is Richard Fresquez, and he showed up the afternoon of July 14th with a red Mustang.
Leanne Martinez was a very good friend of mine. We went to school all through junior high and high school, and that's why it was a shock to me when it found out. He showed up Sunday afternoon, and he said, hey, check out my new car.
What was he driving?
He was driving a red Mustang, so I said, hey, cool. Your friends want to lend you their car, and he acted fine. He acted totally normal. He was wearing some like dingy old tennis shoes. He says, oh, I wish I could buy a new pair of shoes. Mine are all old. So we took off to a shoe store, and we all walked out with a new pair of shoes. He told me he was on his way to California.
Did he leave in the Mustang?
Yeah.
Police searched the garbage and found his running shoes and the shirt the neighbor said the guy he saw was wearing. Then the police search Richard's house, and they find photographs of Richard inside Leanne's house, so he was familiar with her house. They knew each other. So that probably explains the reason why there was no forced entry, because She knew him. He was a familiar face. When he came to the door, she let him in. The police speak to Leanne's sister, Valerie.
Leanne went to school with him, so I know him through that. I've known him for, probably 7 years.
Okay. During those 7 years, have you ever known your sister and he to have any problems?
It wasn't a close relationship by any means.
Okay. There was never any romantic relationship in between Richard
God,
and
no.
Okay.
No.
And do you know whether or not Richard was ever allowed to use her vehicle?
No. Never.
Never.
So Richard fled, but they found him in Palm Desert, California, and they bring him in for questioning.
Why don't you tell me about how you came into possession of her vehicle?
I was out partying. I drank all night with some friends. I met up with this guy that I've known for years.
He gave you the car?
Yeah. So I was like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, well, meet me in Albuquerque. Here's money for gas. Here's everything.
Okay.
I was still scared, man. You gotta understand where I'm coming from. I really freaked out. And then what would you do in my situation? Your face is plastered all over the news.
Leanne was one of your friends?
Yes, I went to school with her. That's why I freaked out when when everything happened on the news. I was like, what?
Have you seen her that night?
No, at all. I haven't seen her in a couple weeks. Well, we met up out by the junction, what's it called? By the Gorge Junction.
Agent Martinez has gone out. He's done a lot of background stuff, and we know what kind of guy you are, okay? At this point, let me go ahead and tell you, you did cause the death of Leanne Martinez, okay? We know that, and let me explain. Hold on, let me finish.
Let me tell you, brother, we didn't come in here empty-handed. I have a pair of shoes that we've done DNA on, and guess whose DNA is on those shoes?
Who's?
You think about that, okay? So we're giving you a chance to help yourself. Because you know what? Yes, you are going to go back to prison.
So tell us what happened. We want to hear your side. We want to get this cleared up, and I think you can help us out. Tell me what happened. It's all right. We're on your side.
You know, I want to have an attorney present.
What's that?
I want to have an attorney present.
Okay, so you don't want to talk to us no more?
I need to talk to an attorney first.
Okay. We're done.
The semen found in Leanne is Richard's. The blood on the shoes and the shirt belonged to Richard. He says they had consensual sex, and they got into an argument and he killed her. Richard was sentenced to life in prison. Wow, he was a familiar face, people. She let him in the house, a place where you're supposed to feel safe, and he killed her. He's exactly where he needs to be. Thank you so much for joining me on this week's Real Crime Story. If you like it, please share it. Sharing is caring. And if you are a true crime addict like me, check out my store, crystalkiss.com. That's Crystal with a K for some murder merch. Start killing it with Crystal Kiss murder merch. Free shipping on everything. Join me on next week's episode of Murder Speaks. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks. Bye.